Welcome students to another new lecture video where we're gonna discuss about the affinities of echinoderms with chordates. And today there's an interesting question for you all, that does starfish always possess 5 arms? So stay tuned. So our topic is affinities of echinoderms with chordates, and the outlines are introduction, affinities, and the significance. So what do you mean by affinities? So this affinity word comes from the Latin word affinis, means related to or nearness. And what is chordates? Oh, it's simple that we know that chordate is the phylum whose general criteria are: first one is a notochord, second one is the dorsal hollow nerve cord, and which is later on converted into CNS, the central nervous system. Third one is the pharyngeal gill slits, and fourth one is the post-anal tail. So here we have to see that what are those characters that resemble echinoderms with chordates. But make sure students, not only with chordates but also the echinoderms have the affinities or resemblance with the non-chordates. But here we only discuss their resemblance with chordates. Clear? So first make sure that you know the basic classification. Otherwise it's gonna puzzle you, but if you know well, then you may skip a little. From earlier, you know about animal kingdom classification. You know already that it is divided into non-chordates and chordates, where there is two groups, non-chordata and chordata. So in non-chordates, all invertebrates are there. Okay, those who have no vertebral column, those are invertebrates. So those are listed here, and echinodermata is in block letter because our topic is about echinodermata and its affinity. So let's with whom or up to which it shows its affinities, right? So under echinodermata I have written that hemichordata. Look, this is the group that was in earlier time, it was categorized under chordates. Okay, but later on it is removed from there and listed below the non-chordata group. Okay, now come to chordates. So what are there in chordates group? Chordata is the phylum, and it has three subphylum. Subphylum 1 is Urochordata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. So first one is the Urochordata and Cephalochordata. These two have no vertebral column. Though they show the chordata character, but they don't show the vertebrata character, means they have no vertebral column. Okay, so they are listed in invertebrate chordates. Okay, clear? And these three, the hemichordata, urochordata and cephalochordata, these three are listed in protochordates. These terms I'm gonna use frequently in your chapter in this video, so you have to clear about these terms first, otherwise you get nothing in this. Okay, so this hemichordata, urochordata and cephalochordata are listed below protochordates. Okay, so what do you mean by protochordates? It has also the names are protochordata, you can say prochordata. Okay, so protos means, in Greek protos means first and chord means string. Okay, first chordates categorized by having no true brain but having a notochord. So they are included in hemichordata, urochordata and cephalochordata. And we have to find the similarities of echinodermata between the hemichordata, urochordata, cephalochordata and vertebrata, means the chordates. Okay. Now you can clearly understand about the affinities. Echinodermata is the nearest group of the chordates. So it shows many similarities with this phylum. Okay. First similarity is mesodermal skeletal substance is present in both. Second point is, I have told that a major character of the chordate is notochord or the nerve cord or the pharyngeal gill slits. So, the echinodermata and the hemichordata both have the infraepidermal nervous system, and the perforation on the calyx of carpoid echinoderms are compared with pharyngeal gill slits of Amphioxus. Amphioxus is the example of cephalochordata. Fourth point is, Wilhelmy had shown similarities between the two groups by serological test as well, and cleavage is radial and holoblastic in both in chordates and the echinoderm. Then the blastopore changes into anus, and that deuterostomes pattern is similar in both, means in echinoderms and the chordates. Okay, and what is the deuterostome? I have already told in my previous video, so link is in description below, you can watch that. Then both have the enterocellous mode of coelom formation. So what is enterocellous? Where the gut is hollow, means the coelom, which is in communication with archenteron. The beginning gut is the archenteron, where the cavity within early embryo at gastrula stage communicating the exterior by blastopore. So show similarity according to the biochemical evidence given by Needham. What he told that phosphagen is present in the muscle of echinoderms, but whereas phosphate is present in case of chordates, and in case of balanoglossus and few echinoderms, both types of phosphagen is found. So it is also a character of affinity. In early animal evolution, both fossils, means the fossil of echinodermata or the chordata, found from the Paleozoic rocks. So in case of fossil evidence, both are found from a similar era, means in Paleozoic era. The similarities between the adult echinoderms and the chordates are very few, but the affinities between the larval forms are highly notable. According to Menikoff, there is a resemblance between the Tornaria larva and the Bipinnaria larva of starfish. Tornaria larva is the planktonic larva. This is found in some species of hemichordate. Appearance is similar somewhat to the Bipinnaria larva of starfish. Body of the larvae is with convoluted bands of cilia around the body, and Ternaria larvae eventually begin to the young worms or the acorn worms. In significance, the adult echinoderms are more primitive than larvae because they possess the features of lower animals like Porifera and Coelenterata. The primitive characters are radial symmetry, absence of head, lack of anterior and posterior ends. Hence, during the metamorphosis is very advanced, larvae becomes a primitive adult, and the metamorphosis is retrogressive type. Echinoderms and chordates have the common ancestor, but some modern workers don't believe it. They take as if they came from a diverse group, means the echinoderms and chordates came from separately from a common basic ancestor. Now it's time to get the answer of, does all sea stars always possess 5 arms? Commonly, starfish, the animal of asteroid class, have 5 arms, but sometimes in various species the number of arms are many, though it look like as starfish, but they are not. Those are afterward named as their shape. Another interesting thing is, if their arm or ray number is increased, it is always the multiple of 5, like 10, 15, 20 arms, up to many it can. But the largest starfish in the world and the highest rayed starfish is the sunflower and its scientific name is Pycnopodia helianthus. It is the largest sea star which has 24 rays and it is of 11 pound in weight. Clear your doubts in comment section below, and if you really get benefited through these lectures, then do like, share and subscribe my channel.